In modern wars, battles are not decided only by missiles and planes. Sometimes they are decided by a single voice, a voice that comes from the darkness with no image and no face, but it creates fear inside command rooms and changes the psychological scene completely. For years, this voice came from Gaza. It was calm, confident, never shaking. It carried one code name only, Abu Obaida, who was not a field commander seen on the front lines, who was not a politician speaking to cameras, yet he became one of the most dangerous targets on Israel's priority list. Every word he said was analyzed in Tel Aviv, like a military map. Every appearance started a race inside intelligence agencies. Who's he? Where is he hiding? How can he be reached without leaving a trace? Abu Obaida was not just a military spokesman, he was a part of complex psychological warfare system. In this system, words are weapons, timing is a bomb, and silence is sometimes more powerful than speech. As clashes increased, the battle was no longer only above ground or underground. It moved into minds and shadows. Spy networks worked, signal were traced, and even voices were hunted before their owners. This episode does not only tell the story of a man whose rule ended by targeting or assassination, it shows how one voice can become an intelligence nightmare and how Gaza turns into a field of hidden war we do not see on screens, but a war that decides who appears and who disappears forever. This is Denzel speaking, and welcome to the World of Intrigue. First appearance, it was clear that Abu Obaida was not just a spokesman reading a statement and leaving. He came from a very complex security mindset, formed inside Gaza, a place where every step is calculated and one mistake can cost a life. Appearing on camera is not a normal decision, it is a risky one. The mask was not just a look or a symbol, it was a shield. The code name was not chosen by chance, it was part of a bigger game with one goal: how to exist without being seen. Abu Obaida chose to be a voice without a face, because in intelligence wars, the face is the first thing to be exposed and the first weakness. Over time, that voice became a real mystery for intelligence agency. Every time he appeared, the same questions came back. How did he appear? From where? How did he speak and leave no trace behind? In a place like Gaza, full of surveillance, tracking, and human and technical infiltration attempts, staying secret for many years is an achievement by itself. Here we reach a sensitive part of the story that few talk about: the war inside society itself. A war against recruitment, against spying, and against informing. A report can start with a word, a move, or a small piece of information and end with an airstrike that destroys an entire place. In the context, Abu Obaida was not acting alone. He was part of a system that understood that danger does not always come from the sky. Sometimes the danger is much closer: watching eyes, listening ears, or people pushed by pressure or tempted by money. This is why every appearance was not only a message to the enemy or the public, it was also an indirect message saying that this system is still standing and has not been broken. What was said in these statements was not only the important thing, what was not said mattered too. Silence, timing, and choosing the right moment were all part of the battle. With every statement, Abu Obaida put himself deeper on the target list, not only because of his words, but because his existence itself was living proof that something was working under the surface, something complex, protected, and hard to see. The first chapter of Abu Obaida's story is not only about strong statements and fiery speeches, it's the story of a hidden battle, fought in the dark, a battle of hiding, protecting, and facing a spy war without saying its name directly. A battle that turned one voice into a constant target and made his absence at times more dangerous than any words. From here, the story truly begins: how a word can become a heavy weapon and how its owner can stay hunted even when he's not seen. In the second chapter, the story becomes more dangerous. Here we are not talking only about spokesman, but about what and why this voice was frightening, and why it changed from a man giving statements into a high-level intelligence target. Abu or repeat ready phrases. He chose his words like bullets. Every sentence was calculated and every statement had timing. And in wars, timing is sometimes more important than the information itself. Many times he announced things before the other side admitted them. This created great confusion, not only among the public, but inside decision-making rooms. Israel is used to being the first voice, the loudest voice, and out of a sudden there was another voice breaking the rule. A calm, steady voice with no emotion. The calmness was disturbing because calm during war means confidence, and confidence is built on knowledge. At this point, intelligence agencies began asking themselves, what does he know? How did he get this information? Is this the only media, or is there a bigger network behind the voice? From the moment Abu Obaida moved from the category of spokesman to the category of threat. With every statement, psychological warfare was working at its highest level. The Israeli public started hearing his name more than the names of their own leaders. The Arab public began waiting for his appearances. At the same time, another battle was happening in the dark, tracing the source, not only who's speaking, but who's helping, who's passing information, and who might report. In the world of intelligence, no voice speaks alone. There are always attempts to connect words to people, messages to places, and moments to movements on the ground. What made the decision even harder was that Abu Obaida was part of the system that understood the game very well, a system that knew the most dangerous thing is not the statement itself, but its impact. It knew that every appearance could open a door to spying, reporting, or attempts to penetrate society from within. That's why mystery was a weapon, repetition was avoided, and changes in style and timing were very important also. All of this made reaching him almost impossible for a very long time, despite all tools and all attempts. What was happening behind the scenes was much harsher than what appeared on screen, because every time Abu Obaida appeared, some people were questioned, others stepped back, and others watched closely for any mistake. In an environment living under pressure, any small piece of information could become a major step, and any simple report could change the direction of the entire story. This made the presence of that voice a daily challenge, not only for the enemy, but even for those responsible for protecting it. The second chapter of the story shows that Abu Ubaida's danger did not come from a loud voice, but from precision, from knowing when to speak and when to stay silent, when to hint and when to disappear. This is why and what changed him from just a person into a symbol, and from a symbol into a target, an intelligence target whose value grew with time, and whose pursuit became more intense until the battle reached its hardest stage. This chapter is the heart of the story. Here we leave general talk and enter a much more dangerous ground. Gaza is an open field for spy warfare. Many people think the battle there's only rockets and airstrike, but the truth is that some of the most dangerous blows in Gaza's history did not always come from the sky. They came from information, from reporting, from someone living inside the community who suddenly became an eye sending details. This is not theory. This is the reality that was revealed many times with dates and cases. Let's go back to 2014, right after the Gaza war. At that time, the resistance announced it had uncovered spy network working to locate leaders and weapon storage sites, using direct communication with Israeli intelligence. Investigators showed that some of the information given to the enemy was frighteningly accurate. This level of accuracy could not come from area civilians alone. It had to come from someone seeing things on the ground. From that moment, the idea of the internet agent became a real fear. Now look at 2015 and 2016. During this period, several spy cells were announced to have been dismantled. These cells were recruited in non-traditional ways. humanitarian aid, medical treatment, money transfers, or even personal relationships. These people were not leaders, most of them were ordinary individuals, but their rule was more dangerous: monitoring, spending timing, details, describing locations, and sometimes just confirming that a certain person was still in a specific place. A simple confirmation, but enough. Hamas announced that they caught some people that they convicted of spying for Israel and said clearly the information they passed led to direct targeting of fighters and sensitive locations. This message was clear: the danger is not far away, the danger is inside. From that point, the spy war became more public and talk about informing became strong in internal discourse. In the same year, a very serious incident happened: the Khan Yunis special operation, when an Israeli special force entered Gaza and was exposed. After this operation, a big file was opened about how this force was able to move and how prior information was collected. The accusations were not only about technology. One question kept coming back: did someone prepare the way? Was information sent before the operation? These questions never got full public answers, but they left a deep impact. Move forward to 2021, after the Sword of Jerusalem battle. In that period and the following years, new spying attempts were announced to have been uncovered. Some of them focused on tracking and tracing some kind of information. Some others they were watching individuals, not necessarily big military leaders, but media figures and influencers inside Gaza. This is important because targeting is not always about someone carrying a weapon. Sometimes it's about someone carrying a message. And here we return to Abu Obaida, a voice without a face but with a very high value. After all these years and all these known cases, the question becomes fair. Was reaching him only the result of technical tracking? Or did human information play a role? No one can be sure, and there is no official announcement saying so. But anyone who knows Gaza's history knows that major targets are rarely reached because of one factor alone. There's always accumulation, surveillance, analysis, waiting, and sometimes reporting. The idea is frightening that a symbol of this size, protected by complex security system, could be hunted for years and then targeted at a specific moment. Was that a moment of coincidence, or because someone knew something, or maybe someone said something or was pressured to say something? These questions open a wide door and turn the story into more just an assassination story. It becomes a story of possible penetration, or at least an attempt that succeeded at a final step. Gaza is used to war, but spy warfare has a different taste. It breaks and turns every detail into a question mark. This is what made Abu Obaida not just a military target, but an intelligence prize. Reaching him, even after many years, would be a huge achievement for any agency. Whether it was done by surveillance, voice analysis, human error, or reporting, the result is the same. This battle was longer and more complex than any statement ever shown on a screen. This chapter does not say there was a proven betrayal, and it does not choose one clear scenario. It only shows the reality. Gaza has a long history of espionage, confirmed cases, and clear signs that the real war was always fought in the dark. With a symbol like Abu Obaida, the question remains open: was he taken out by a missile or by information before that? At one point, the familiar voice disappeared. No statements, no recordings, not even audio. In Gaza, sudden silence is not normal. It is a warning. Israel stayed vague. The resistance stayed silent, and that silence was heavier than any words. The targeting was not announced immediately. This was not by accident. In modern wars, information itself is a weapon. Timing, the news, can change moral balance and confusion. Weeks or even months passed with no confirmation, as if the voice vanished the same way it appeared. When the announcement finally came, it was calm and simple. No noise, no show. This message was clear. The story is not over. Soon after, the same name appeared again, with new voice. The symbol did not die. This was perhaps the most disturbing thing for the enemy. Was this the result of a long intelligence case? Small accumulated mistakes, one piece of information at the right time. No one knows for sure. What is certain is that reaching this moment took years of surveillance and failed attempts. Even if it was a success, it was not a simple victory. This chapter is not about the death of a person, but about the limits of a power. It shows that even the strongest intelligence services needed a long time to reach one target, and that this target survived for years, and the return of the name proved this was a long psychological battle. The story does not end with a name or a voice. Abu Obaida was a symbol, and symbols do not disappear easily. The story opens a bigger and more dangerous door, the hidden war of spies, informers, and infiltration, far from cameras and headlines, a war that can change everything without a single shot. This episode is only an introduction. In the coming episodes, the files will be opened one by one. Major espionage cases in Gaza, how they start, how they were uncovered, and how they changed the conflict. We will also look at the espionage in the Westbank with different tools but the same danger. If you reach this point, you're not just a viewer, you're a part of the journey. The story is not finished yet. What comes next is more dangerous.